Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. Yo, listen up, we back in the game. Sweep the league, we got the flame. Motivated to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get in every way. Working in two in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweep the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every girl, rubber rock stats, we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
2, 1.
Well, as you guys can tell, Derek Gervin doesn't miss anything. If you don't want to miss anything as well, go to YouTube. Search at Sweep the League TV. Be a subscriber today. We're giving away a bunch of prizes and stuff. Be a subscriber today so you don't miss, just like Derek never misses. Subscribe to Sweep the League.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
What is up? It is a Thursday NBA Jam edition of Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. coming to you with Hall of Famer Derek Gervin. We're going to be talking to you about some NBA, also a little bit of NFL. Kind of changed to the whole plans here a little bit, guys. We're going to do NCAA football talk. It's going to pretty much come on Friday nights now to get you ready for Saturday. So Friday nights we're going to do some NCAA, NFL talk. We'll throw some NBA, but tonight we want to get full throttle into NBA talk. Your San Antonio Spurs did play tonight. They end up falling to the Mavericks 120-109. If you guys want to leave some comments in the chat, be sure to do that. Also, we'll go over some other NBA tidbits. A question that came up that we want to talk about, Victor Wembanyama, year 2 of Victor. Question that came up in the Sweep the League group chat. Is Victor, what do you think the ceiling is for Victor? Might have a surprising answer from hashtag Debbie Downer, Rudy Campos, but we keep it real. So we're gonna talk a little Victor tonight, but we're gonna talk overall NBA. Like I said, as well as some NFL. NCAA talk's gonna come tomorrow. Also, just a heads up, we got a guest announcement that we're gonna be talking to next week. Got a confirmation today, so we'll let you know who that guest is. San Antonio basketball, high school basketball. One of the great players come out of high school basketball, part of a great East Central team at that time. So we'll mention who it is here in just a little bit. But let's bring in the Hall of Famer himself, Mr. Derek Gervin. Derek, sporting the San Antonio Spurs shirt. Are you there?
Yeah, yes, I am. Since I live in San Antonio, I figured I'd show them a little love tonight. They need my help.
Hey, first and foremost, it was the Mavericks. It's opening night. I saw a lot of good things for the San Antonio Spurs tonight. Didn't see, I saw a lot of things that I saw improvement on. Harrison Barnes coming off of a very disastrous preseason for the Spurs. He turned it around tonight. He played really well. I really like Champagne as well. He surprised me last year. He kind of started the season really, really slow and just kind of fault. He kind of just fell off the face of the earth on the rotation for the San Antonio Spurs. But he came in strong this game. There was some positives in there, still some negatives, but I mean, it's kind of like what we had been saying, kind of going into the season. Set your expectations just, not low, but set them at a reasonable, win total, I think.
Well, first I'll say good evening. Oh man, I don't know where to start. I'll just say they play hard. That's for sure.
The
And the
Rasheed
only thing
Wallace.
I'm happy it was the first game of the year because if you really look at it, Dallas came up short on a lot of their shots
Yeah.
because they're not in condition yet. They still guys are still working themselves into basketball shape. I'll say. You can practice all you want, but that's different than actually playing the game.
Yeah.
And so the guys played hard, but I got to be honest, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but I'm gonna always be honest. I don't like Victor being on the perimeter so much. At one time, he was 3 for 14. He finally hit a 3-pointer, but that's not utilizing their strengths in my eyes the best way they can. I like how Harrison Barnes played. Started off 6 for 6. I thought Champagne played well, but we got to remember they kind of shorthanded with no Devin Vassell. But I'm disappointed in the Pop letting them play too much from, I'll say, perimeter basketball. If they're going to be a decent team or try to fight for or play in or whatever,
Yeah.
Victor's got to play down low more, and he's got to take better care of the ball. When he was dribbling the ball a few times, even Luka guarded him a couple times, and these guys are putting their body on him. And the reason I say it's a problem is because Victor has to get a wider base. He's standing up kind of straight, which means you don't have your full strength, and
Yeah.
guys are bodying him, and he's just got to continue to work. And we got to play him inside out. I don't like the behind the backs and all of that from the 3-point range, him bringing the ball down just so he can hand it off to Champagne. We need Champagne to be handing it off to Victor, but he needs to be catching it in that 15 feet and in area more so than he did tonight. And if they can correct those kind of things, then I think they'll be a better team. Victor's got to be down low a lot more, and that'll open up things for everyone else.
Yeah, we got everybody joining the chat tonight. Sith Lord Elias is in here. Shout out to him. Him and Brandon do a very good job on their Down for the Count wrestling podcast. You may want to check them out. They do a fantastic job. He agrees, man. Wimby needs to play within the perimeter, all that size for what. It's kind of what we have been saying last year, man. You've got all that size, and there's nobody that can stop you in the paint. The one thing that worried you and I and everybody was the strength. He would probably be pushed out of the paint a lot, but just because you lack strength doesn't mean you can't gain technical skills. Basically just your attributes get better in the paint. You can, we talked about get him a fadeaway jumper, something like a LaMarcus Aldridge fadeaway, a Patrick Ewing type fadeaway. He's tall enough. Why can't you add a sky hook or a baby hook shot? I mean, that's almost pretty much impossible to block at his height. You saw Kareem for years master that sky hook, and there's a lot of things Victor can do to where he's not going 5 for 18, shooting every single game. You saw, I'm going to go to the box score here. What do we have on 3-point shots for Victor? 1 of 8. I mean, do you really want your 7'8" guy shooting 8 threes a game?
12.5%, man. My math got 1 for 8. That's 12.5%.
Yeah. I mean, do you really want to see him shooting 8 3-pointers a game? I mean,
I don't, to be honest. And then on the post, a few times, it's a difference catching it on the post, okay? When you're 10 feet in and then catching it on the mid post, you're 10 to 15 feet and shooting fadeaways off 1 foot.
Yeah.
I know this is 2024, but you have to do what's best. You have to utilize your skills to the best of your advantage to do what's best for the team. And I know it's only one game, so I'm not going to panic, but it is kind of scary because it's similar to last season.
Yeah.
And I know they brought in Chris Paul, but he's 38 years old, and Harrison Barnes is 32. We need Victor getting to the free throw line a lot more. And the more he drives to the basket, the more it'll open it up for guys like Champagne, guys like Sohan. Even you saw Sohan shooting threes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's utilizing players at what they do best. Pop's got to make some adjustments. I hopefully he will, but I love Victor, but it's too similar to last year with the 3 pointers, and he's going 5 for 18. That's inexcusable when your biggest player or tallest player is Daniel Gafford, and then you got Derek Lively.
Yeah, and I agree, with Tim is in here saying, it's just one of 81 games. And yeah, I mean, we're not overreacting to one game. We're just kind of seeing what settled, what sets right for us and what feels right. I mean, even the TNT crew, a couple of those guys were kind of stating the same thing. He's so tall. I mean, you should be able just to be in the perimeter. And Shaq has been very vocal when it comes to Victor. Big man, nobody can stop you in the paint. If you're going to take 18 shots, 15 of those probably should come in the paint easily, 14 to 15. I don't mind him shooting a 3-pointer here and there. That's just today's game, Derek. I mean, that's today's game. So I don't mind it.
Do you remember one time Luca was guarding him and they
Yeah.
tried to throw him an alley oop and Luca bodied him out of there? So he missed the alley oop.
Yeah.
With stuff like that, you got to start moving Victor around in that low post area, mid range area, and you've got to be honest with him. You got to tell him, for this team, we need you more inside than outside. And what I'm disappointed in is we got one of the greatest coaches ever coached this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually have him up there in the top 3 coaches. I had Red Auerbach. I got Pop up there. But this is what I'm disappointed. Maybe I should put the coach from France in my top 3 because if you remember, he wasn't too happy with Victor settling for the 3-pointers.
Yeah.
And he talked about it during the Olympics. He went public about it. We need Victor more inside, outside, and not outside, inside. And that's what they got to hold him to. You got to sometimes be honest with these guys. We need him getting rolling to the rim, him and Chris Paul in the pick and rolls. We didn't see that a lot. Instead of settling for the pick and pop. I love Victor, but I don't think he's not Kevin Durant. Let's be honest about it. We can want him to be, but that's not his game. He needs to be more so make his living around that basket.
Yeah, and a lot. I mean, we're not the only ones screaming for it. Citizen here saying you got to incorporate Tim Duncan bank shot for Victor. I mean, another thing that you can definitely work on to get him in the paint. Tim, these aren't new. These problems, these issues were last year. Yeah, I mean, we saw the same thing last year. It's common sense when you're a big guy like Victor, take it to the rim, and that's it's You're not dealing with Manu Bol or George Murison or Sean Bradley here. You're dealing with a player that knows how to use his size, that has an inside-outside game, but lacks the interior dominance that you would expect him to have. It was kind of funny because earlier you and I were talking on the phone, and you called me for one question, and you asked me, you asked me, we don't lie on Sweep the League. We tell everybody like it is, and we love doing that. You asked me flat out, will Victor ever get to David Robinson or Hakeem Olajuwon level? And I took probably, 5 milliseconds, and it just said no.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
Yeah, I said no. And, it's not that I'm hating or I'm a Debbie Downer for Victor or the Spurs. I'm not. I mean, just think about it. You're talking David Robinson. David Robinson's first year, I mean, stats were pretty identical to Victor. If you look at the rookie campaigns, they're pretty identical. I think David had a couple more rebounds more than Victor. I think blocks were pretty identical. I think David scored more points, but the question is, well, where does Victor stand? I think I said, probably. I mean, I would probably put him in the Alonzo Mourning category, but not that bad. I think he's going to be way better than Alonzo. Probably I think Alonzo had 2 years that he led the league in blocks. I think he was an all defensive first team. I can't remember if he won a NBA defensive title. I think he did. So, I mean, it's not bad comparison, but I think he's better than Alonzo Mourning, but will he ever get to Shaq or David Robinson dominance? I don't know. I can't buy it. I can't see it. So we're talking what? One of the greats of the game, Patrick
Yeah.
Ewing.
Look at
Probably
okay.
around there. Probably around there right
But
there.
look at Pat. What was Pat's downfall? Shooting too many
Too many
jump
jumpers.
shots. If you look at him at Georgetown, he was a beast, right? You remember John Thompson had him in the goal in the championship. He goaltended like three or four of the first shots, right?
Yeah.
But so he's a force defensively, but offensively he settled for the jump shot. And what's Patrick Ewing's biggest play offensively that he's known for? 7
Fadeaway.
foot missing the finger
Oh, yeah.
roll.
Known for missing the
Against
finger roll. Yeah.
Indiana, missing the layup finger roll when he should have been pounding the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen with Victor, man. I mean, Pop's got to be honest with him. Pop's gotten soft. Let's be honest about it. I'm a Spur guy. I got the shirt on today. But I know where we headed if Victor continues to play on the perimeter. And people don't have to like it, but they should want the honesty. And that's what we're about. He needs to be in the paint. If he's in the paint, then he could average 30 points.
Easily.
But the way he's playing right now, it's not good for the team. It's not good for Victor. I mean, if you notice, Rudy, be honest about it. When he's playing, shooting the 3-pointers and all that and going around his back and through the legs, he's not as aggressive defensively. So they need to get him in the mentality of monster, tough attitude, where he's playing. One thing about Alonzo Mourning is you could never say he didn't bring it every single play.
Yeah.
And that's on both ends of the floor. And Victor needs to have Alonzo Mourning, Moses Malone type mentality. If he does that, we become a better team overnight.
Yeah, I love this comment by Elias. He says, it's going to get people mad, but Chad Holmgren is built like Wemby and knows how to incorporate his size when he plays. I do like that comment because I see Chet play a lot inside. I do see him play a lot.
Yeah, I love Chet.
You're a Chet guy. I mean, we both feel we love Chet too. Chet's a great player. I love Chet Holmgren, but I think he bangs a little bit more in the paint than we see Victor do, and it's something that comes with it's gonna come in time. I don't expect Victor to just all of a sudden just stay in the paint and dominate. It takes time. Now, you're talking about Chet, who had a year, at Gonzaga. So he's had some American basketball, a lot more American basketball than what Victor has. Victor came from overseas where the international game, it's tougher. I mean, it is a tougher game, so I feel it's going to take time for Victor to get still acclimated to playing with his back to the basket, playing the low post, but it's something that you've got to kind of start seeing, especially with this team right now.
You know what a part of the problem is, and people can think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna say this. If you remember, Victor's from over there in France, right?
Yeah.
So we all know he was playing against the defensive player of the year over there, right?
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert. But where do you think Victor was making himself more effective against Rudy? It wasn't around the basket, right?
Yeah.
He's taking Rudy away from the basket, and he's shooting jump shots. And that's fine. Like you said, it's okay. But if he's shooting 8 3-pointers, for me, that's too many anyway. On a good night, that's okay. He's not Jason Tatum. He's 7'3", 7'4". And the Spurs have got to get him to play down low. Pop must demand it if they want to win. This is not what you want to do, Victor. What do you think is best for the team? I watched my brother in an interview the other day talking about when they moved him to the guard spot. That wasn't his idea. Bob Bass's idea. And George's comment was he was kind of reluctant at first. But Bob Bass told him, this is not about what you think is best. This is about what's best for the team.
Yeah.
And Pop's got to have that mentality, the same way he had it with Tony Parker. He wasn't light on Tony. He wasn't light on Manu. And he wasn't light on Tim. He's got to make Victor understand what this game is about. And that's the game is won inside out. and we need that from Victor Wembanyama. If he does that, then we become a much better team overnight.
Yeah, it's gonna. And again, it's game one. We're not here, you know, killing the Spurs and picking apart everything. I went not anything like that. We just saw what we saw, but it's game one. You know, they got a tough. The first 20 games, I believe, of the season are pretty much all against playoff or play-in teams from a year ago. So, I mean, to say that they may go 6-14, 10-10 at best, maybe. I mean, you can't expect them to come out of the gates that fast like they did last year. I think they were 4-1 last year to start the year, 3-1, something like that. So, I mean, they added Chris Paul, and again Harrison Barnes having a very bad preseason came out very strong in this game, and it was just like he turned it on. He turned those light switch on, and he played a whole lot better. So, like I said, you see the steps going forward for the Spurs. You see what they're trying to do, and I just felt like, okay, it's kind of the same thing over and over again.
Tendencies, Rudy. All you talking about
Yeah,
is tendencies. That's
yeah,
all. We're
it's
not
jump
bashing.
shots,
We're
jump
talking about
shots, jump
tendencies.
shots. Yeah,
Do I
it's
want
they're
Derrick
falling in love.
Henry? Do I want Derrick Henry trying to run like he's Barry Sanders? No.
No,
I
north. You want
prefer
him to
what
run
I'm
north
seeing.
south.
I prefer what I'm seeing with him with the Eric Dickerson, Earl Campbell style. And Victor has to get a little more Tim Duncan in him. I like the David Robinson play, but as you know, David ran the floor and all of that. But
Yeah,
David still played around the basket. If you remember, David scored 71 points.
yeah,
And it wasn't from shooting three-pointers. It was more around the mid-range. Even if Victor's 18 feet sometimes, that's okay. But to live at the 23, you know where the furthest three-pointer is, right?
tell me.
Top of the key where it's 23-9.
Oh, from the perimeter. Yeah, okay. I
Okay.
thought you were talking about something from like
No, I'm
logo
just
and stuff. I'm
saying
like,
it's
oh,
the 23-9. I hope people realize that. The
yeah.
corner is 22 feet 3 inches. It's a
Mhm.
big difference when you're shooting from the top of the key in the NBA. This is not college. This is not the WNBA. And
Yeah,
to make your living out there is hurting us. And because if Victor's not out, if he's shooting out there, and say we were to miss, he keeps missing, right? Who's
yeah,
going to be there to get the offensive rebounds? Sohan occasionally gets some, but we know Mr. Collins doesn't get a lot of offensive rebounds. But you got two big guys. We should be able to have Victor play down low. And why can't him and Collins be similar well, we saw what happened with Karl Anthony Towns, huh? They moved him because they got tired. Well, I'm just saying, right? The guy who said
yeah,
he's the best three-point shooter ever for a big man, is he still in Minnesota? No.
no.
So he's not going to be taking as many threes in New York as he did with Minnesota.
He's
And
gonna
we
have to
see
be a traditional
Minnesota.
big man.
Yeah, you just gotta do what's best for the team. It's not bashing Victor at all. I love him just
Mhm.
like you do, and the city of San Antonio. But if this was Tim Duncan, we would say the same thing. If it was David Robinson, we'd say the same thing. So we just
Yeah,
want what's best for the team, and that's where the coach comes in. Papa's got to do a little better job. Papa's gotten soft. I'll say it again. I know it's one game, but tendencies matter.
yeah, and it's maybe it's the old time basketball that you and I watched and grew up in when a big man was a big man, dominate the paint. Don't step out in the 3-point. I mean, we saw Manu
He
bullets
should
the
have 6
3-pointers
dunks a
back in the day.
game, man. And I'm not talking
Yeah,
about just on the fast break. I'm talking about catching the ball in the paint and,
mhm,
and flushing the ball on guys. And that's
yeah,
the mentality he needs to have. If he has that, the word gets around the entire league. And that becomes intimidating. It's not intimidating when Mike Tyson's trying to dance like Floyd Mayweather. It's intimidating when
mhm.
Mike Tyson's trying to knock people's head off. And that's the mentality Victor needs to have.
Yeah, I love that Tyson comparison. I'm writing that down because I need to TikTok that for you because that's a great comparison, man. I like that. At the end of the day, it's like this. I'm gonna ask you what you asked me. So when it's all said and done, what and I see Tim in here. Tim's asking about Shea Gilchrist Alexander. We'll get to that, Tim, I promise. But this what do you see in Victor? I mean, do you see like you talked about Hakeem, Shaq, David, if he was to improve even more, which he's gonna, let's not lie, he's gonna improve. I mean, year 2, he's still a kid. I don't even know if he can drink yet. I mean, he's gonna improve, but where does that ceiling lie? Because if he's gonna continuously try to be, a 3-point threat, then it just doesn't look very promising. So with the tendencies we saw from last year, it's only been one game this year, but you can even throw in the Olympics because we saw him in the Olympics on a world stage. Where does that ceiling lie at now that we've got a year going into second year?
The ceiling is unlimited. The ceiling, but we know a lot of times people don't reach the ceiling. So the style of play that he's playing right now, his ceiling is what you said. I won't say Lonzo Mourning. I would say more Patrick Ewing because Patrick lived and died by the jump shot. But the ceiling is unlimited. I mean, he has the potential to be I won't say big man because he's so thin, but he has the opportunity to be one of the best big men ever, where we should be talking about him in the same class. We're talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, Will Chamberlain, Hakeem Olajuwon, then a Bill Russell type guys. And I'll even take Bill Russell out because we're not just talking about on the defensive end. His ceiling is top 4 center of all time. But we know what your ceiling is and actual reality are two different things. The way he's playing right now, his ceiling is more Patrick Ewing.
Okay, so you got Patrick Ewing. I just would love to have him, develop a sky hook. I mean, you're not going to be similar to Kareem, but a hook shot, a fadeaway from the perimeter. I mean, you can take bits and pieces from all these big guys and kind of just mold it into Victor. And we can't say, oh, well, he can't do that. He can't do that. The kid is so talented that I don't even know if he's tried. It seems like he knows one way to play ball, but hasn't tried to incorporate something else. I figured by now we would have seen maybe, a drop back, maybe one-handed shot off the backboard like Timmy does, a step back. I mean,
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not to cut you off. The way he's playing right now, I'm gonna mention a player. Even though this guy's a great player, he scored over 30,000 points. But Victor's a center. The way he's playing now with the jump shots, it more like Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to become Victor Wembanyama's history, is that he was a guy that preferred to shoot the jump shot as opposed to – just think this, Rudy. If he even drives to the basket, what's going to happen 7 out of 10 times?
If he even drives to the basket?
If he drives, even if he misses the shot, what are they going to give him?
He's going to get fouled.
Okay.
He's going to live at the free throw. He's going to live at the free throw.
Luka should not be driving to the basket more than Victor Wembanyama.
No, he shouldn't be. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like what's so crazy is he should be shooting 12 free throws a night easily. I mean, easily 12 free throws a night. There should be no reason why he shouldn't be shooting 12.
He should be getting what the numbers that Anthony Davis put up the other night. Have you noticed that Anthony Davis, when healthy, has gotten more aggressive? Did you notice that JJ Redick has basically, you can see it, has demanded? He's still giving him his 3-pointers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where is he making his living now?
Well, in the paint.
Okay, he's not gonna allow him to get away with as much as Darvin Ham allowed him to get away with. And sometimes you have to demand these guys to play that kind of way. The Victor around the basket makes the Spurs a very good team. What about Shai Gilgeous? Tim, we already know Shai Gilgeous was second in the MVP voting last year, sir.
He's asking what the ceiling is.
The ceiling with Shai Gilgeous is a superstar. He's already there, though. So he plays on both ends of the floor. So, I mean, Shai Gilgeous, the word, and we only have to talk about Shai. His actions speak for himself. His ceiling is one of the best that ever played at his position. He plays on both ends of the floor. But here's the thing. Shai knows to play within the framework of the team. He's not a guy that goes outside of himself and tries to do too much. So for me, that's a superstar, and his ceiling is what we see now. I don't see him getting a whole lot better than he is, but I see him getting a lot smarter. But whatever, Shea is a guy that's going to play within the framework of the team. So that's the kind of superstar you want.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking MVP candidate definitely this year for Shea. No doubt about it. Where does he finish in the MVP? I don't know. I think he's probably I don't know. I mean, going into the season, I say he's first or second in MVP this year.
Well,
One or
just
two.
like he was second last year, wasn't he?
Should have been MVP last year, but
Oh,
yeah.
well, there you go. I thought he should have been an MVP as well. So even with now that you bring in Caruso and Alex Hardenstein, who, by the way, is out, 5 or 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks now
Yeah.
with the fractured hand.
Mm-hmm.
So Shea is still going to be Shea. I'm just hoping Victor can get into that upper echelon. Right now, if you really look at it, be honest. Would you have Victor in the top 10 players right now if you go by basically how the season ended last season and going into this season? Do you think would you have Victor in your top 10 players?
No.
Well,
No.
neither
I
would
mean, I
I.
wouldn't. What's that?
I said neither would I.
Yeah. I mean, it's I I see Victor, where he's going. He's just not there yet. I can't put him in the top 10. I think Shaq had him at 31. I think Chuck had him at 22. I think Kenny had him at 13 and Reggie had him at 18, 19, right around that range. I mean, even they don't have him in the top 10. Obviously, Shaq don't have him in the top 30, but I mean, for me, Victor wise, I'd put Tatum, Brown, Cat. I'm just going off the top of my
But you
head.
know Shaq, though, Rudy.
Embiid.
He
Oh
really
yeah,
does have him in the top 30. He's just trying to motivate Victor. That's his way of motivating a guy. And you know how he has him in the top 30. But the only reason he doesn't, because he doesn't like all those jump shots.
yeah, and that's the one he's the one that's been saying it. He's like, if I'd have him higher if he would be in the paint more and play in the paint, dominate the paint. And there's nobody out there that can
No
argue with
one
that fact.
in the NBA can stop that man around the basket. No one. First of all, he can jump, not only just the height, but he can jump.
Yeah.
And that's what I want him to utilize more. We could count David Robinson. Going into the game, you basically knew David Robinson was going to get about 5 dunks a game.
Yeah.
And we should be able to say the same for Victor. It's okay. We're not saying don't shoot the jump shots, big fella. We're just saying know when to shoot the jump shots and know when to get down low. And if nothing else, you get the other team in foul trouble. If Victor goes to the basket, it puts a lot of teams in trouble because we're getting to the free throw line. And he's a really good free throw shooter. And he should be shooting it, I'll say 9 to 10 free throws a game. I won't even say 12. But if we're getting 8, 9, 10 free throws a game, that makes the Spurs a much better team.
Easily. Yeah, easily. Because he's not a bad free throw shooter. So if you're shooting 12 times a game, chances are really good he's making minimum, 9 free throws a game. So there's 9 points right there. You're losing games by 8, 9 points. It's right there. Just do the math. I mean,
Tim's a comedian, 4th best. Yeah, I'm like Rudy looking at right now. The Magic might be the 3rd best.
Yeah. I love Orlando and being the 4th best team in the East. I have them behind Boston. I have them behind the Knicks. After that, I
think they could be. I think they're a better team than Milwaukee, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people people have to remember Milwaukee played well, right? But they played the Philadelphia team with no Joel Embiid and no Paul George.
Yeah.
And people run away with that, man. I think they don't factor in those kind of things. Just like Golden State last night, they blew out the Portland Trail Blazers, who will be one of the bottom 3 teams in the NBA. So really, neither team showed anything. But for right now, with Paulo Banchero getting 33 and I believe 11 or 12 rebounds, and then you got that other young man who's upset because they got eliminated early in the Olympics in Germany.
Yeah, Franz
Wagner.
Yeah.
I see the Magic look like a team that's going to be something to deal with. And then who did they pick up? Kill my Nuggets
Yeah.
team. Who did they take?
I can't
KCP,
even.
who really didn't have a great game his first game. Actually, not a good game at all if you go by the stats.
Well,
But
he was a better. He played defense, so it's
yeah,
steal and two
that's what I'm
blocks.
saying. If you just go by the
So
stats, I think he only had like 3 points or something,
yeah.
2 rebounds and 1 assist or something like that. But
Mhm.
just his presence on the team makes them better. And Boncaro is a guy that you know wants to be in that upper echelon. And I think he thinks he's a better player than Jason Tatum and those guys. So right now, I would have Orlando in my top 3.
Yeah, and what I liked about it was the starting five for Orlando. They had 8 steals or 7 steals amongst themselves. 2, 4, 6, 7 steals just amongst themselves. So they're playing defense in Orlando, and it's showing on paper, man. I mean, I like their bench. You got Wagner's brother there, Moritz Wagner. Anthony Black is playing. Gary Harris is another guy that you got to keep an eye on. You know, they're they're a good team, and I think they're right about that third seed. I mean, I would say definitely they're going to finish within the top 5 at the end of the season. You
Hey,
know, health
maybe
wise.
second seed.
Well,
'Cause
yeah, I
we
mean,
don't know because the Knicks didn't look
yeah,
spectacular, and
they
they got
didn't.
some things to figure out. As you can see, the Knicks look like right now they're going to have trouble offensively. And I hate to say that, but I mean, other than Brunson, Cat is going to be up and down offensively. Every game, you're not going to get 25 from Karl Anthony Towns. Let's
No,
be honest about it. They look like they were kind of shorthanded offensively. So that's something that they still got to work on. Tibbs has got to figure out how many guys is he going to play. Wasn't their second best scorer Deuce McBride? I think
yeah,
Deuce went 8 for 10 or something like that. So they still got some figuring out to do offensively. So if you go by right now today, I would have the Celtics and I would have Orlando Magic second. I wasn't very impressed with Milwaukee. They look like the same team as last year. And of course, Chris Middleton is still out. I know Torian Prince and Gary Trent Jr. at some point they're going to get more acclimated to the team. But right now, today, I would have Orlando's second best team in the Eastern Conference.
yeah. I was giddy on Orlando a year ago. I'm even more giddy on them this year. And I said, in our earlier preview show, I told you guys, I feel like they can go pretty far in the Eastern Conference playoffs. I really do, as long as they stay healthy. They got to stay healthy. But it just seems like that's why I was like, man, Klay Thompson for Orlando would have pretty much sealed the deal for me with them and said, okay, this is contending now. But they still need that veteran, that one guy to just take the kids and be like, all right, this is it.
They hoping
KCP
it's
can be that guy.
KCP, but
Well, he could be that guy, but I just don't. I think they still need
it's a
that one
different
guy.
dimension than Klay Thompson, though.
What's that?
It's a different dimension with
Yeah.
KCP as opposed to Klay. Because, Klay's going to spread the floor every night. Even if he isn't hitting his shots,
Mhm.
Klay, you can never forget, Klay scores 60 and 11 dribbles.
Yeah.
And so that's a different threat than KCP. We saw KCP last with Denver. If you remember, he didn't have a great year with the Nuggets. And that's
Mm-mm.
part of the reason he's no longer a Nugget. So I'm hoping he can regain his championship form, and I'm not going to give up on him. But right now, offensively, he hasn't looked very great. He hasn't looked like the KCP of 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's for sure. Ray Dean, Lake's got a big W. Told you 55 or more. He's on the 55 win
For
game
who?
for the Lakers. He's got the Lakers winning 55 games, so he's
Ray
gonna stick
Dean,
to
who do
it.
you think? You
He's gonna
James Dean, Ray 50. He got the Lakers going 55 and 27 or better.
Yeah, that's what he's
Wow.
got. Well,
Wow.
I mean, they play the games. He said 80 is the truth. Yeah, hey, I think we are absolutely all in on AD this year. I mean, ever
55
since
and
the Olympics.
27. Oh boy, Ray. If they go 55-27, look what I'm doing. I'm gonna salute you, my man. Because I love AD, but you gotta remember this. How long will LeBron play second fiddle or third fiddle during the course of an NBA season? You got to
Yeah.
still factor that in. JJ Redick says he wants ball movement, but at the end of the day, it's not what JJ wants. We know it's what LeBron wants. And
Yeah.
we'll see how that affects AD as the season goes on.
Yeah, it's gonna be one to look at for the Lakers. I kind of, I mean, 55 for me is a bit of a reach. I think I'm good with 40. I don't know,
If
46.
they go 50 and 32, the Lakers have had a hell of a year.
Yeah, I would be.
They're in the Western Conference. We're not talking about the Eastern Conference.
Oh, in the Eastern Conference, I'll give them 55 wins in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, in the
There's
Eastern
no
Conference.
doubt about that. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And I'm all in on AD. I will admit, this year I'm all in. I was, I'm like, man, every year I'm like, man, AD, is he going to stay healthy? He's going to stay healthy. Then I saw him in the Olympics, and I mean, I'm like, okay. Then I saw him, first game against Minnesota. I'm like, wow, okay. I think I'm going all in on AD. I'm not buying the BS that you hear about. Well, AD is way better than Tim Duncan. You're going way too far. You're drinking too much of that AD Kool-Aid, and it can't have that. But I like the AD that I've been seeing in the summer, and I like the AD that I saw for against Minnesota. Offense has to run through AD. I agree. He's their best player. So it is his team. I will agree with Ray on that. It is AD
It
the best.
should be his team.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
have to
gonna
see it
be.
to believe it. Remember, now we once again, just like Boston with the 29 threes, it's only one game.
Yeah.
So I recall saying last year that it was AD's team. I'm talking about me personally. I also recall saying the year before last, 2022-23, it was AD's team. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to say it again. Will LeBron allow it to be AD's team and he plays second fiddle? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, and just before we go to a quick commercial break, I will say the whole LeBron and Bronny checking in thing. We knew it was gonna happen. I'm glad they got it out of the way. I'm glad that they did it, pretty quick and it happened. But come on, man, a whole moment like that, great. You got it out of the system, whatever. It's just a marketing ploy, is all it was. It was just for advertising dollars. It was this and that. Bronny's probably not going to be in the league in a year or two. I would say that. And it's kind of crazy because he should be playing in the G League. I'm not hating on the kid. I'm calling it like it is. I mean, if you have a preseason the way he did, you're cut. I don't even know if you get to the G League, you're cut. But because of the last name, he's definitely going to be
celebrating him getting a layup in preseason against Golden State, or getting one rebound the first game of the season. I mean, that's not a team that's focused on the championship. So hopefully, eventually, they'll start playing that. What's that kid? Oliver? What's the kid's name? Not Connect. What's that other kid's name? That Oliveri or something like that?
Olivier?
Yeah, the kid. They got the kid on their team that's a really good player. Young guy, the one that Steph Curry likes. I can't think of his. I think it's Oliveri or so. I'll have his name when you come back off the break.
Yeah, I'll pull his name. Actually, I've got it right here. Oh man, you may have to help me out here because I don't even see it. I don't even see him on here. That's crazy.
We'll find it over the break.
Yeah, go ahead and check it out over the break. Before we go to break, real quick, we're gonna make our announcement. So this coming Tuesday, we've got a guest, and it's San Antonio high school basketball champion Dante Mathis, former East Central player. Of course, you know him. He played next to Stanley Bonowitz for East Central. They had that run back in '95. They were 35-0, won the state championship, the 5A boys state championship. We're going to have Dante joining us on Tuesday night. Let's catch up with Dante, talk to him a little bit about East Central, that run where they went 35-0 that season to bring home the state title. He did go on to play. Was it Texas State at that time or Southwest Texas?
It was Southwest Texas.
Yeah, Southwest Texas. So yeah, he went over to Southwest Texas Bobcats. He's currently an assistant coach at Texas State. So we're gonna catch up with Dante, man. We're gonna bring you a lot more guests. We're gonna also get some local guys here that we used to know from way back when, following their career. So we were gonna welcome Dante Mathis on Tuesday. Join us here on Sweep the League. So that's gonna be fun right there, man.
Rudy, it is Oliveri. It's Quincy Oliveri.
Quincy Oliveri. See, he didn't even come up on my depth chart over here.
The kid can play.
Well, we're gonna have to get to the bottom of that. ESPN.
Hey, quick shout out, man. We got a call today, so hopefully this leads us to something forward. I want to thank my friend, first of all, for thanking me, congratulating me in the Hall of Fame. And I want to congratulate him for making that Atlanta Hawks roster. Shout out to Keaton Wallace. And, of course, you know his brother is in his second year with Oklahoma City, Kason Wallace. Shout out to Keaton Wallace, my man. I told you it would happen. Now you just keep on working hard.
Yeah, for sure. And when we do talk to Keaton Wallace, because I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, I hope you don't tell him the story about when you called me and you said, you know who I talked to? Keaton Wallace. And my first words, oh, Kason's brother.
The younger brother getting his respect, but that's okay. Hey, he made it first.
Definitely. So like I said, we got a lot of guests on tap right now. Other guests that we're still trying to confirm, but we will see Dante Mathis on Tuesday here on Sweep the League. Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr. When we come back, we'll talk a little more NBA. We'll also talk about the NFL again, the NCAA talk. We're going to be talking about that on Fridays, getting you ready for Saturday. So we come back from Sweep the League. It's going to be NFL talk, maybe a little more NBA talk, brought to you by MCS General Contracting. We'll be back. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting, building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Are you a hockey fan looking for the latest on the Edmonton Oilers, Pittsburgh Penguins, and NHL news of the week? Barry and Carson Best bring it all to you on the Best Boys Center Ice podcast. They break down games, provide insider updates, and keep you up to speed every week. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join their hockey family.
Welcome to the Lean Left, Lean Right podcast, where spirited debates and open discussions reign supreme. Join hosts Rudy and Shemaya as they dive headfirst into the hottest topics in politics and beyond. They're all about seeking common ground without losing their passion for their perspectives. If you're ready for real talk and honest opinions, subscribe now and join the conversation.
For the ones who doubted, now we showing the proof. Came from the struggle, we live in the truth.
STL Music.
Yeah, challenges come, but we here to stay. Built from the dirt, now we paving the way. Had a bad day, but this life ain't bad.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr., Coach Joe should be back on tomorrow with us. We're going to be covering our NCAA picks tomorrow. Probably give you our NFL picks as well tomorrow as well. But we will do a lot of NCAA football, getting you ready for Saturday. Also, Dante Mathis, former East Central champion over with Coach Bonowitz and played with Stanley Bonowitz. Will be joining us on Tuesday to talk more about that 1995 run, 35-0, all the way to state championship. Also his college career. I think he played overseas as well. Professionally, well, it was, I'm gonna look it up here. Billings Rim Rockers, CBA, Kirka, Pistoria, and Orlandina Basket. So he was overseas for about 11 years, what it looks like. So
Dante can score.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He could definitely score. Definitely score. He was a Southland Player of the Year in '99, two-time first team All Southland, second team All Southland as well. So yeah, I mean, definitely a scorer, definitely a player. It's going to be a another awesome interview here for Sweep the League. So I don't know if we ever made the prediction before we go to NFL, Derek. Did you make a prediction on Spurs total wins, and then did you give us a Western and Eastern Conference Finals matchup?
I said Spurs. I'm like you. I'm in that 30 win area.
Okay.
And the way they're playing right now, I can't go higher. If anything, I would go lower.
Yeah.
You know, they won 22 last year. I'm gonna say this year, I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna say they go 32 and 50.
Okay.
And as far as Eastern Conference, we already know basically. Come on, I mean Boston Celtics.
Mhm.
And then for the Western Conference, I'm gonna go the team I'm looking at right now. I'm gonna go OKC. You know who my favorite team is in the West, but
Oh yeah.
a lot of people don't like when I say it. But when they brought in Russell Westbrook, I wasn't too happy about it. Just like I wasn't last year when they brought in Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
I just don't think those guys are the right mix for that team. So I think OKC, Hardenstein will be back healthy. And then Alex Caruso. I think Oklahoma City right now, to me, is clearly the best team in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I like OKC in the West. I started looking at something, and it's funny you bring him up. I don't know why, but I feel that Russ may actually be more beneficial to Denver this year. I think with Malone, another year with Malone under Jokic, I don't know. Something tells me that you may see a more bought in Russell Westbrook for Denver. Not saying they're going to be the best team in the West, but I think he helps them a little bit more this year than expected. I don't know. I think the collective group around him, I think, kind of can get to Russ a little bit better and make him understand you don't have to be the guy like you were in OKC. You don't have to go full steam ahead and do all this stuff. It's okay to play, within the team of basketball. And I don't know. Something tells me that Malone and Jokic and Murray kind of got with him and said, "This is just what we need from you right now."
That I love what you said, but then again, we have to look at reality. That's like telling Draymond to stop being Draymond.
Yeah.
Once Russ starts rocking the baby and all that, I'm like, you gonna see me when I talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go again. And so
Yeah.
I just know today is about growing your brand. And so I'm hoping that Russ buys into the team, but potentially he can. But you got to remember, Russ is not the defender he used to be.
Yeah.
So his best way to shine is offensively. But I'm hoping with Aaron Gordon getting his new contract, of course they have Jokic, who I still consider the best player in the league. I'm hoping he goes there and plays his role. But I also was hoping that when he was with the Clippers. And Ty Lue claimed how much he loved him, but here we are another year, and Russ has been moved. So hopefully I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but that wouldn't have been my pick for the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, no, and as far as me, I'm sticking with the 30 wins for the Spurs. I mean, I still think they're going to get to 30. That's an 8-game turnaround. It was funny because I think Reggie or somebody had asked like, "Well, can they make the playoffs?" And Kevin Harlan was like, "You're asking for them to make 23 more wins basically to make the playoffs. That's not going to happen." And I agree. I got them at 30 wins.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
This year? If you want to be honest, I don't even think Victor, if you really were to be honest and sit him down and have a conversation and you were face to face, I know you're supposed to talk positive and do those things for your team, but if we've been an honest conversation, I don't even think Victor would say they're a playoff team this year.
I don't think so either. I think more
Excuse me,
you.
Rudy. I'm sorry.
Bless you. I think you see more. Help me out here. I think you see more fans expect playoffs than the actual player.
Why are the fans? Why? I mean, are they being realistic, or is it just
No, man, fans are fans. They're,
because you like a team? Even when you like a team, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, but you haven't heard me the last 5-10 years talking about the Lions going to win the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Now I'm looking at the progress they've made the last 2 years. And you got to start from somewhere. You got to start growing. I'm not saying leaps and bounds, but progress. And right now, all we want from the Spurs is progress. Chris Paul wasn't brought in to lead them to a championship. He was brought in to teach guys how to be professional, do things the right way. And then that turns into more wins. And then it's a progression.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is he wasn't even brought in to make the playoffs. It was just it's a rebuild. I mean, if they were serious about a playoff run and they felt that Chris Paul could get them to the playoffs or play in at minimum, wouldn't he have signed for a few years and not just 1 year? And even at that, would he have taken that massive discount for 1 year? No, man.
You got Branham, who I like. He didn't play that much. You got Champagne. You
Wesley.
got Zach Collins. You got Sohan. If you look at that roster, you got Trey Jones. That's not a roster that's going to make waves in the NBA. And we have to be realistic about it, no matter how much we like the team. What are their prospects as far as actually winning? And right now, I'm telling you, 30 to 32 wins. If they were to win 32 wins, that's a 10-game improvement, right? 32 victories is a 10-game improvement.
The hell of an improvement.
So we need to start trusting the process, like they said in Philadelphia, even though that process is run out. Let's start trusting the process.
Yeah, you got to trust it. So for me, it's 30 wins for the Spurs. Out west, I do like Oklahoma City out west to come out there in the NBA Finals. On the Eastern Conference side, I think what we saw was just not a fluke, but it's just going to take a little time. I'm sticking with a healthy Knicks squad. I'm taking New York, Oklahoma City for my finals pick. You're taking Boston and Oklahoma City, so we'll see how it goes. You and I have been pretty damn close. We've actually been right the past couple of years picking the champions. Who do you have raising the Larry O'Brien trophy?
Can I tell you why I don't take Boston? I mean the Knicks over Boston?
Sure, yeah.
I was watching, I'm a Jalen Brunson fan. But when I watched Jaylen Brown guard him,
yeah,
and make him put it in that right hand, and then you got him taking like 9 or 10 seconds just to get it past half court. I just think Boston, if you look at their team, they're the smartest team in the NBA. Wouldn't you say that?
I have no doubt about that. And I would never.
So they're going to expose your weaknesses, and that's what I think the biggest thing is, that they know how to guard Al Horford. You remember, you still got Al Horford, who's a champion, was a 2-time champion in college. He knows how to deal with a guy like Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
Now, see, Karl is not much different than what we talked about with Wemby. Karl Anthony Towns prefers to do what? Shoot the jump shots.
Yeah.
They got him out of Minnesota. And I just don't think when you have weaknesses that are obvious weaknesses, that the average fan can even see the weaknesses, I don't think that's a team that could beat Boston.
So what I see in the Knicks is I like Boston, but my thing with Boston is it's two players. Can Porzingis and Horford stay healthy? That's my biggest question. And I think that's what gets them into trouble, because if they get injured towards the end of the year, which it tends to happen.
Cornette.
They got Cornette, but
still go to Xavier Tillman, who had some big shots in the finals.
He can
defend. That's why I picked them, because if you got the big men. If Horford were to get hurt, you still can go to Luke Cornette, who's continuing to evolve, and you can go to a guy like Xavier Tillman. So you got those kind of emergency guys. New York doesn't have those kind of guys. With Mitchell Robinson is out, and he comes back still. We got to see, but they got Precious Ochoa and Jericho Sims.
Yeah,
I don't put them on the same level as I would put Luke Cornette. I just think they fit better in the system with Boston. And then you got those guys, Pritchard and Hauser, who are continuing to get better. And they got a deep team. They got Boston is just there. They have a very high IQ, And then you got to look at it. They still have the best duo. No, it's not Luka and Kyrie. They still have the best duo in the league, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Well, I'm not gonna go back and forth. I can't. I gotta stick to my picks like I do every year. You got to stick to yours like you do every year. But I have Oklahoma City as your title winners this year.
You do.
A healthy Oklahoma City team is so damn hard to beat. I mean, you saw them with. I think the year of experience comes this year. They learned a lot last year. They got to the number 1 seed. They had issues in the playoffs, but I think the additions that they had, Caruso, Hardenstein, you brought in 2 veterans, and it just seems like if you sub out Jalen Williams, you've got Caruso coming in. If you got Dort going out, you bring in Caruso. Chet gets in foul trouble, you still got a rim protector in Hardenstein. I mean, it's like it's almost like the perfect not elevator,
Can't
but
argue. Yeah, Kayshawn Wallace.
yeah, I mean,
second year.
yeah, it's hard to picture. You know what it reminds me, Derek? It reminds me of the year that you and I took Denver. We said, man, it's so hard to find a weakness when you can go that far deep on your bench. It's hard to find a weakness. And I have the same feeling for Oklahoma City that I did with Denver that year. I just can't really find. The only thing that I can find that could hurt Oklahoma City are injuries. That's it. But a healthy Oklahoma City team.
What about a healthy Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray and Jokic?
There's no bench. There's still no bench. I think that's
in the playoffs, they're only going to go 6 or 7 deep anyway. You got Christian Brown. It's going to be interesting. But right now, OKC would be my favorite. I'm not as high on as a lot of people on the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I like
them, but I don't even think they're the second best team. I think Dallas is going to end up the second best team in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I like Minnesota. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time for them to gel. I do like Minnesota. I wouldn't doubt if Minnesota finishes in the top 4 in the West. Yeah. I would say that easily. But yeah, for me, Oklahoma City, I just looking up and down that roster. I'm like, man, it reminds me of Denver. And even Denver goes 5 or 6 in the playoffs. If you're taking them to 7 games, those guys are playing a huge amount of minutes. It's going to be a lot of wear and tear on those guys. Plus, you know me, I'm a big guy when it comes to injury. I got to see if these guys stay injury free. Jamal Murray being one of them. I mean, can he stay healthy for the duration of the year? That's a big question mark, and that's what I look out in the Eastern Conference with Boston. When it came to Horford and Porzingis for me, Porzingis is starting off the year injured, so just trying to get these guys, to stay healthy. If they're all healthy, I can see a Boston coming out of the East. There's no doubt about that. I wouldn't mind that pick at all.
It's going to be another good championship series. We're going to have the 2 best teams, one in each conference, and of course they're going to be. That would be a blockbuster to me if it were to be Boston and OKC, or if it were to be New York and whoever comes out, New York and Dallas. Either way, then we're headed towards another great year.
Oh, yeah, easily. On the NFL side, man, you got Minnesota playing against the Rams today. Rams are up 28-20. Minnesota has the ball with 1:46 in the game. Trying to see where they are. I think they're close to the red zone, but yeah. Well,
second and 10 at the 5.
Taking it back. Rams just got a safety. Now it's 30-20. Looks like Minnesota is going to drop this game. Yeah. They're going to drop this game. Puka Nacua, who I had on my bench for fantasy because I saw he came back, decided to come back, get 7 receptions for 106 yards. He did not look injured today. So, nonetheless, I like the Vikings still. Just kind of a hiccup somewhere in there. It's so crazy because there was a lot of talk that Minnesota is interested for trading for Matthew Stafford, who they're playing against tonight. He's like high on their list. I wish Gio was here because there's still a lot of season left. The Rams got healthy with Kupp and Nacua back. I can't see them getting rid of Stafford right now, knowing you have your two biggest weapons back. You can make a turnaround in the NFL. Still, I mean, they're not in a tough division at all. So, I mean, I'm looking at the division right now, Derek. I mean, Seattle's the leader at 4-3. The Rams are 2-4.
Yeah, but Sam Darnold hasn't exactly been chopped liver.
No, he hasn't.
It's not really his fault they lose and they're giving up 30 points. So
Yeah, he
I
doesn't play
can't really
defense.
blame that on Sam Darnold. So I think he's played very well. The Jets gave up on him. I think he's resurrected his career, and this will be what their second loss in a row. But I think they'll get back in gear, and I think the Vikings are still going to have a pretty good season. I can still see them going 11-6.
Oh yeah, I think the Vikings are still going to be fine. I don't have any doubts about that. But it was the fact that you're talking about people possibly the
Stafford?
Vikings trading for Stafford, but you can't give up on Stafford right now. I mean,
Man,
there's
Stafford. No, Stafford's not leaving that team. I mean, I don't even think that trade would even make sense. You hear a lot of rumors today, but I can't see that happening. Hell, I got heard a rumor about Kevin Durant going to Cleveland. So there's a lot of rumors out there today. This is a social media era. I don't even think they'll give up on Stafford. I still think they could salvage their season. So I don't see a trade happening at the quarterback position.
yeah, no, I don't see it at all happening. You know, NFL wise, I don't know, man. One game that I got circled this weekend is the Bills and the Seahawks. Buffalo's traveling to Lumen Field in Seattle. And I circle it because this is a game where Josh Allen and the Bills go into a tough environment. I mean, Seattle, Legion of Boom. It's a tough environment to play. Is that a make or break game for Buffalo right now?
I won't say make a break because we've seen Buffalo have hiccups along the way. Every time, that's my team, other than my Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, they're off to the races. They end up getting a team like this on the schedule, and we know they're going to play against the 12th man. Uh, that could be very intimidating. Sometimes you can't hear the play calls, and so to me, it's not make or break, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went in there and kind of came up short against Seattle. Seattle's basically playing for their lives. They started off well early, and to me, this is a bigger game for Seattle than it is for Buffalo. So I think Seattle's going to come out guns blazing. I'm hoping Buffalo can respond, but I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo lost this game.
Yeah, because Seattle, they are 4-3. Then right after that is Arizona and San Francisco, both at 3-4. Now San Francisco plays against Dallas. A lot of people are already saying Dallas is probably going to win. No Christian McCaffrey, no Brandon Ayuk. Brock Purdy is just, just kind of humming and hoeing away. But I still don't find that this game is one that you can clearly say the Cowboys are the better team. Why? Because San Francisco is favored by 4 in this game. So Vegas is telling you that we don't even believe in Dallas when it comes to this game.
Jerry doesn't sound like he does either.
Well, at what point is it, if the Cowboys go in and they lose to the Niners, I mean, are you still going to have another press conference Monday morning with Jerry on 105.3 in Dallas saying, well, I still believe in Mike McCarthy and we got a great team. We just came up a little short. I mean, when is enough BS is over?
He might still believe in Mike, but it's not going to be Mike McCarthy. Who did I tell you? Mike Vrabel.
Well, yeah, you did.
If they don't win this game, Jerry's been doing a lot of talking, even more so lately than usual. And so when he does that, that tells me the coach's job is basically on the line. Because otherwise he would be quiet, and he's not doing that. He would go off into the background. When he's talking like that, he's sending the message to Mike McCarthy and the team. So if they were to lose this game, and then you look at the schedule they have the next 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win this game, man, heads will roll, and I really believe that. So Mike McCarthy, I'm wishing you well, but you better find a way to win this next game against an injury-depleted San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, man, they got to win this game. This is the game because that'll put them at 3-4. Which I mean, with I think Philadelphia, they're 4-2. They're playing the Bengals. That's a big game. I mean, I can't even say Philly wins that game.
If
Let's
you
say against
can't beat the
Cincinnati.
49ers right now, that's
Yeah.
not a playoff team. I'm talking about Dallas. If you can't beat the 49ers right now, a shorthanded team, and they're right now they're one of the most banged up teams in the entire league. They
Mhm.
still don't have one of the MVP candidates from last year. We know Brandon Ayuk is out. If you can't beat them right now, Debo has been having problems. George Kittle has not looked like George Kittle. If you do not win this game, you heard me, heads are going to roll.
You heard it here first. Heads are rolling in Dallas. So we'll see what happens, man, because it's gonna be a pretty good weekend. I can't wait till tomorrow we make our picks for this weekend. I don't know, man. All week I've been actually circling Dallas, Derek. I don't know why. I've just been circling Dallas. But when you make a circle on a team, you have to complete it. I have that little hash that I haven't completely.
It'd be complete if they lose this game. You watch. Yeah, after some point, you run out of excuses, and you can try to build your team up as much as you want and talk publicly. Jerry is a businessman, but I really believe Jerry wants to win. It's not like he's aging backwards.
Yeah.
And to lose to the 49ers sends a signal that you're not even going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get Coach Gio in tomorrow. We're gonna talk NCAA tomorrow. We're gonna get you ready for Saturday and also get you ready for Sunday. So, quick reminder: Dante Mathis is gonna be with us on Tuesday night. So we're gonna be talking to Dante. We're gonna talk a lot of college basketball on Tuesday as well with Dante Mathis, former East Central player. They went 35-0 in 1995, state champion. Also played with the Texas State Bobcats. I was Southwest Texas at the time. But Dante will be joining us on Tuesday. We got a couple more guests that we're working on as well. But Sundays. So we are playing with the idea that we may do a Sunday show, and that'll be also for Monday. So we'll keep everybody posted. We may do a Sunday show, and if we do, it'll either be recorded or live, and then we'll post it for Monday for you guys, so we're not missing a Monday show. We're still working on Wednesdays as well. But before we go, I want to bring up a basketball name, and I just got maybe 3 minutes worth of video on him, and I heard of the name. I just never knew how good he was. I saw a video on Demetrius Hook Mitchell.
The meat hook.
Yeah. You have any backstory on that? Because Gary Payton was basically saying that this was like the guy.
The meat hook was a beast, kind of undersized, but a very good college player. A guy that I thought would go, do well in the NBA. But I think him being not being like the great ball handler, I
Mhm.
think his size caught up to him. At that point, you had to be a certain size to play a small forward, and you had to have a certain quickness. I just think he was undersized because I think in the NBA he would have probably been a power forward,
Mhm.
and I think that's what hurt him. He didn't have the athleticism of a quickness, even the quickness of a Charles Barkley, and I think that's what hurt him. But yeah, the meat hook is the name.
Yeah, it was funny because I was going through TikTok and it came up. And I'm like, Demetrius Mitchell. I've heard of that name, but I don't think I've ever really heard that name. So that was cool. And also, man, going back to days there, I didn't know David Thompson pretty much created the alley oop.
Oh man, are you kidding me?
I
They call Dominique the human highlight film, and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
take his name away from him, but even when David Thompson was playing in college, I don't know if you remember because you're a lot younger than me. He had a bandage on his head, and because he had jumped and I guess fell over a guy's shoulder, and he fell so hard, man, he ended up hurting himself, and he ended up playing with a big old bandage on his head. But if you remember, he's the guy that went down to the last day of the scoring title with my brother's first scoring title.
Yeah.
David Thompson went and played against the Detroit Pistons. and David had 73 points, man. And if I remember correctly, he missed 10 shots. So he was like 28 for 38 or something from the field.
Yeah.
But you talking about just jumping? Who did Michael Jordan have at his Hall of Fame induction?
David Thompson.
The guy, they talk about a 48-inch vertical. And if you remember Daryl Griffiths, Dr. Duncanstein,
Former Utah Jazz. Yeah.
he was a very high jumper. They say he had like a 44-inch vertical or whatever. David Thompson, man, might be, he was blocking 7-footer shots.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not, you talk about a guy, they talk about touching the top of the backboard. I don't know if he could actually do that, but even to be talking about a 6'4" guy being able to do that should tell you all you need to know. And he was so light on his feet, man.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even write me back. I wrote him because last year at some point he had went to Killeen, and so he was in Killeen, and I tried to reach out to him. I didn't get a response. But if I could have one guy on the show, I've had my brother, I've had Dr. J, Oscar Robertson, Rick Bear. If I could have one guy on the show, it would have been David Thompson, man, the Skywalker. And that's the real Skywalker. Kenny, what's the one my man used to play with?
Kenny Walker.
Kenny Walker with the Knicks. I love him. He's a Skywalker, no offense, but real Skywalker, David Thompson, without question.
Yeah, because it was funny that, at the time when he was playing college, right, there was no dunking allowed. You couldn't dunk a basketball.
He just dropped it in. He's 6'4".
So they basically he just created an alley-oop to get to the basket, and that's how the alley-oop pretty much came in. He wasn't dunking it. It was just, like you said, just kind of grabbing it and laying it in.
I don't know if I've ever seen a guy I don't think I've ever seen a guy that height that played pro basketball, not just NBA, but pro basketball. The jump higher than David Thompson. You might have some guys that was up there. I played it with a guy named Mike Bell when I was in the CBA, about 6'5". I have to say Mike Bell and David Thompson, the two highest jumpers I've probably ever seen in my lifetime.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Well, I found it crazy, man. When I was looking at it and I saw David Thompson, I know David Thompson scoring wise. I mean, one of the greatest basketball players to ever play. But to just hear, I was like, really? He pretty much invented the alley-oop. Like,
it looked like the rim was 9 feet. I swear I'm not lying. It looked like the rim was 9 feet, and he's 6'4".
Yeah, I think if we ever talk to George and even Dr. J, I would probably have to bring up David Thompson because both of them, probably Dr. J was going crazy with David Thompson on that video that I saw. And even David mentioned George, about him and George and, Dr. J. And, it was like, man, that to be a fly on the wall in some of these arenas back then, I would have definitely loved to be there.
Unreal. I mean, he blocked shots. He could also block shots.
Yeah.
6'4". I haven't seen anything like it. Mike Bell could jump, but you talking about a guy that could play the game of basketball. David Thompson, it's remarkable even to this day. I can't even. It's hard for me to even talk about it. You see how pumped up I get. That's a high flyer. I've seen them all. The Dominiques and all these guys. David Thompson is at the top of the list.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Some of these videos I had started watching, I was like, wow, I didn't even know. Like, I mean, the whole Lamar Odom story, I saw that one about him going to Rhode Island. He was going to UNLV. The only reason why he didn't go to UNLV was because his SATs. They said he cheated, and all that stuff. So he ended up going to Rhode Island, all the way to Jason Williams. People don't know, he was drafted, and when they announced that he was drafted out of Florida, he was actually kicked off the team. Yeah, he was actually kicked off the team. So, Billy Donovan kicked him off the team, but he honed his basketball skills with the Orlando Magic and Nick Anderson, and then ended up getting drafted that summer.
Even Pete Maravers didn't pass off his elbow.
Yeah, no, nobody, and I've never seen anybody do that at all. And it was like a spur of the moment type thing. If you ever talk to Jason, it's
to even try that, you have to be crazy, man. The guy, you got a guy coming down trailing you on the fast break, and you hit it to him with the elbow, man. The white chocolate, you definitely get love from me.
Oh yeah, and you know what's sad is I was like, you could have done that to anybody, but you had to give it to Rafe LaFrance. Come on, man. Get a dunker catching that ball.
Rafe is one of the greatest players to ever come out of Kansas Jayhawks.
Oh, I got nothing but love for Rafe, but you know, when you make a pass like that, you want to make sure a Tracy McGrady or a Vince Carter or something like that's going to get it and dunk it. Rafe just kind of grabbed it and was about to make a move, but got fouled on the play. So.
Yeah, Rafe had some hops back then.
Oh, man. I love talking to open up the vault here. But, yeah, nonetheless, tomorrow we're going to talk NCAA football, get you ready for Saturday. Also get our picks in for NFL on Sunday. Dante Mathis on Tuesday. We got a lot coming up here. Hopefully we'll get that show in on Sunday to where we get it for Monday as well. So, we'll keep everybody updated. Also, our first giveaway for all the new subscribers is going to happen next week. So we'll be making the announcement over the weekend here. So everybody that subscribed over at Big Texas Comic Con, all of our new subscribers, even all of our older subscribers, you're all entered into the giveaway. I think it's going to be a couple of gift cards. And also, I think it's an autograph that we have. So we got a lot of stuff we're giving away. Next week, we're also going to be doing an NBA 2K giveaway for either PlayStation or Xbox. We'll let you know which one it'll be. You tell us if you win. You let us know what console you want, so we can put it on there for you. So, yeah, giveaways are about to be kicking off here. So be sure to go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber, so you are entered into the giveaway. 932 of y'all are entered right now. So
subscribers, we got to hit that with our subscribers. This is the best show in town. Tell a friend about the show. If you're a subscriber, tell a friend, and let a friend tell another friend. Let's get those subscribers up.
Yeah, we want to get them all the way up, man, so we can keep giving away a lot of gifts here. So we'll be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. It's going to be Derek. It's going to be myself. It should be Coach Gio joining us. Tomorrow we're going to do all of our picks, NCAA, also NFL picks. So just be ready, guys. But until then, for Hall of Famer Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr., until we sweep the league again, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.
Everybody have a good night.
Welcome to the Lean Left, Lean Right podcast, where spirited debates and open discussions reign supreme. Join hosts Rudy and Shemaya as they dive headfirst into the hottest topics in politics and beyond. They're all about seeking common ground without losing their passion for their perspectives. If you're ready for real talk and honest opinions, subscribe now and join the conversation.
For the ones who doubted, now we're showing the proof. Came from the struggle, we live in the truth.
STL Music.
Yeah, challenges come, but we here to stay. Built from the dirt, now we paved the way. Had a bad day.
2, 1. Well, as you guys can tell, Derek Gervin doesn't miss anything. If you don't want to miss anything as well, go to YouTube. Search at Sweep the League TV. Be a subscriber today. We're giving away a bunch of prizes and stuff. Be a subscriber today so you don't miss, just like Derek never misses. Subscribe to Sweep the League.
We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger. We build a legacy, yeah, they know the name. STL Music, it's a movement, not just a claim. Loyalty, respect, that's the code we honor. In the face of adversity, we stand stronger.